I'd like to declare the meeting open and thank everyone for their attendance today at 3:03. And we have no apologies today or public question time. No disclosures of interest from anyone. So we'll go on to the moving of the last minutes. So attachment 5.1A is the minutes of the meeting from the 24th of April 26. If we could have someone to move those, please. Councillor Grafton. And the seconder, Councillor Hudson. Okay. And all those in favour? That's 4 this time. Right, yeah. You have 4 this time. Okay. We'll move on to the dashboard. There's no officer report, so we'll go to the first one is the dashboard. So it's attachment 7.1A is the June dashboard, which has obviously been amended following the regs audit. Do you want to do any discussion beforehand? Any points that you wanted to make on that, Anisha?
Sure. Thank you, President. So the risk register, as you can see, there is Regulation 17 audits, and the FMR audit had been conducted, and lots of comments are made as per those audits as well. And we have updated from last audit committee, audit risk ARIC meeting as well. As you can see, the organisation is in a transition phase from informal systems to structured governance maturity. So there is a significant backlog of policy, procedural and compliance documentation. Many risks are not new, as we have already been identified and were already in discussion in past few meetings, or from the time I've come and manager governance has been highlighting those. They do reflect systemic underinvestment in governance frameworks over the time. This transition is expected to continue for at least 26-27 and a little bit further to that to actually bring it up to speed. And workload for 26-27 will be heavily focused on policy development, systems implementation, compliance uplift for things such as the privacy records and information sharing, IT records audits, assets and financial framework design. While management responses show intent and direction, delivery capacity and prioritisation will be critical over next 12 to 18 months period to reduce exposure and achieve compliance maturity. Council's advice, or the ARIC committee is advised that while risks remains elevated due to incomplete systems and frameworks, there is clear management recognition of issues and active program of corrective actions underway. Continued prioritisation and resourcing will be essential to ensure successful delivery of the governance and compliance improvements across the year. President, I would invite the manager governance to make any comments.
Yes.
Thank you, Mrs. Jones. Since the last dashboard was presented in February, a number of updates have been made following the completion of the Regulation 17 review and financial management review. One of the recommendations from a Regulation 17 audit was that audit findings should be tracked separately from the broader risk dashboard. To address this, a new audit findings section has been included in the June dashboard, which will allow actions arising from both audits to be monitored and reported separately. A number of completed actions have also been removed from the dashboard. These include items against the asset management, emergency management, governance, procurement, workforce planning, customer service, and workplace health and safety. The intent is to keep the dashboard focused on current risks and outstanding actions rather than retaining items that have already been completed. Additional commentary has been added throughout the dashboard to provide updates on several ongoing actions, including IT, disaster recovery plan, record management improvements, information management projects, HR responsibilities, transitioning under governance and community services, and current IT contract reviews. Several actions have also been updated to reflect findings identified throughout the Reg 17 and FMR audits, ensuring those matters are captured and monitored moving forward. Overall, the dashboard reflects good progress since the previous version, with a number of actions now being removed. There are still several higher priority items requiring ongoing attention, particularly in relation to IT resilience, information management and implementation of the audit recommendations, which will continue to be reported through future updates. I would also just like to mention that, as we will note in the next item 7.2, the auditors for the Reg 17 did identify that our current risk dashboard incorporates both operational and strategic items. And their recommendation was to separate those, which has now been provided in this month's risk dashboard and open for committee input. Thank you.
Thanks very much for that, both of you. So with the policies and procedures, as you update them and as they come due, is there like a calendar schedule as you go through that things need to be updated, that they'll get put back on here when they need to be done? So like, say if you're doing something this year, like you're going over your sewer management and the next time it has to be done is in 5 years' time, is there a calendar that you would use to implement that at the correct time?
Yep. In the past, a compliance calendar was in discussion, in my understanding, before my time as well. We haven't got a compliance calendar running at the moment. Have we got? We have, okay. I beg your pardon. So the compliance calendar, like, I think we were talking more of a software. That implementation possibly didn't happen the way it was planned in the previous.
Yeah.
We do have a SharePoint type, that can be accessed to people.
Yeah.
But if the committee would like to have a compliance calendar provided in every area, possibly that's something we can look at doing as well. That will be a good way of tracking things as well. Yeah,
because otherwise, sort of as things come off, how do you track up how do you work out what should be coming on next, and that everything's reviewed at the correct time? Yeah.
Okay, through the chair, with this risk dashboard on the back end of it, the items that have been completed are still on there. I've just hidden them. So I've got master list, and from that create the quarterly report. So all the items that have been marked as completed are still sitting there in the background. Through our policy updates in SharePoint, we do have a breakdown of when they are due for the next review as well. So
I think on that, through the chair, the question is more towards the overall organisation as well. So the policies, yes, we do. I think that's where I said we don't have a compliance calendar for overall operations. For example, when is the roads to recovery return due, or financial, how does a new manager corporate services know what to submit to the department and when? That kind of things is something I would be interested to look at for future. That's something I was referring to previously, was looked at before my time, because I've got these handover notes that had talked about a couple of softwares. But from a policy standpoint, we are in good hands at the moment. But from an organisation standpoint, we really need to start looking at an overall organisational level compliance calendar. When are the swimming pool inspections due? When are the, all these kind of things, because it's all over the shop at the moment, which needs to be consolidated over the time. And
it just makes it a smoother transition if you have changes in staff as well.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. No, well, that looks good. And does anyone else have any questions?
Thanks, Trace. Through Chair, if you go down to environmental management, the sixth one down, so we've still got to complete the audit of the sewage system, valuation of the sewage system. So now the Water Corp aren't going to take that back, Anisha. Can we wipe that off? Because it's sort of showing it's not commenced, and we've never commenced it now.
Yep. I think that's a fair point. If the committee is happy for us to remove that point, we will.
Trace, I have a question.
Yes.
So things like document governance framework and, there's these kind of things that you would expect most local governments. Is there a standard template, or do you have to have your own dedicated framework, policy,
Through the chair, we do get templates from Wolga, but they again need to be more tailored to the need of our organisation. There is a standard template, but we can't just rely on that. There needs to be more work on those templates to talk to our kind of organisation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, are those discussions ever held when you go to a New Rock meeting or something locally that you share documentation and ideas on?
it just seems a massive amount of work.
If you guys are doing everything that's in here, you'll be working from 6 in the morning till 12 at night, and you still won't have done all your policies and procedures, and you won't get anything else done. It's a big workload. It's massive.
A lot of that's overkill, really.
But it has to be done.
Yeah, for a Danforth council, honestly, staff should just spend minimal time on it.
Some of these policies only need to be a page long, wouldn't they?
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. From an education viewpoint, we would get 3 policies from 3 other schools or 3 other regions and then go, how does this fit in for us? And just adapt, whatever. It just saves so much time if you've got something already there. And it just seemed like an inordinate amount of work to me.
It does. Yeah.
It's true. You can get around it.
Yeah. Yeah, shared information is a lot better than just Googling it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, okay. So is there any more comments on, we're just doing the dashboard still. Where are we? Valuation. Okay, so no further questions? Okay, so officers' recommendation 7.1, that in accordance with regulations 16 and 17 of the Local Government Audit Regulations 1996, the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee, 1, receives the Risk Dashboard Quarterly Report for June 26 as presented in attachment 7.1A. 2, notes the revised structure of the Risk Dashboard following recommendations arising from the Regulations 17 review. 3, recommends to Council that it adopts the Risk Dashboard Quarterly Report for June 26. Can we have a mover? So that's Councillor Tripp, and a seconder, Councillor Graffin. Okay, all in favour? That's 4. Okay, move on to the next exciting document. 7.2. Sorry, very professional here. 7.2 is Regulation 17.1B and C and the Regulation 17.1A audit reports. So there's 2 documents there. A lot more information than we received on some of the previous ones. So they're quite thorough, these guys, aren't they, for an interim look? But it's handy, helpful information. So if everyone's had a look through those, Anisha, if you've got any comments you'd like to put to that?
Thank you, Chair. So just referring to the 17.1A, which is the Financial Management Review Summary, or the document, Shire's financial management systems are generally satisfactory as per the reports. We have had significant amount of improvement in last financial year, and therefore it is satisfactory. However, it's not up to the mark that I would like to be. It is. So no high-risk control weaknesses requiring immediate action were identified. All findings were assessed as low risk. However, several opportunities exist to strengthen governance, documentation, consistency of controls, something I have been always mentioning about having a standard operating procedure, which will also help succession planning as well as sustainability of the organisation. In summary, financial systems are operating but are not fully supported with documented policies and procedures and formal monitoring frameworks. Council is advised and the committee is advised that while no high-risk issues were identified, the review highlights a clear need to formalise and document existing practices across financial systems. Management has accepted all recommendations and is progressively implementing improvements. Continued focus on policy development, system controls and governance frameworks will be required to strengthen the long-term financial management maturity. And on that, through the chair, if I can also ask Manager Governance to add any further comments, please. Thank you.
Very lovely, thanks.
Through the chair, the Regulation 17 reviews have now been completed by Australian Audit, with the final reports issued on 21 May 2026. The reviews covered financial management, risk management, internal controls and legislative compliance, and the overall results were somewhat positive. No high-risk findings were identified through either review. The FMR found that the Shire's financial management systems are generally satisfactory. A number of low-risk findings and improvement opportunities were identified, primarily relating to documentation, procedures, reporting and internal controls. Areas included procurement monitoring, contract management, payroll controls, reconciliation, asset management processes and system access reporting. Many of these areas had already been identified internally and work was already underway prior to the audit being completed. This was particularly evident in payroll, procurement oversight and financial reconciliation processes. The Regulation 17 review identified one medium risk finding relating to the structure of the risk dashboard and how strategic and operational risks were being reported. As the committee will have seen through the previous agenda item, this has already been addressed through the introduction of a dedicated audit findings section and revisions to the dashboard structure. The remainder of the findings were low risk and largely related to governance documentation, policy development and procedural improvements. These included matters such as a fraud and corruption prevention policy, a whistleblower policy, a business continuity plan, an internal control policy, complaints management processes, and some IT governance documentation. Importantly, the auditors also acknowledged a number of strengths within the organisation, including existing risk management framework, governance and compliance systems, compliance registers and calendars, governance policies, and existing cybersecurity and backup controls. Management comments have been included throughout both reports and outline actions that have already been completed, currently underway, and future improvements. A number of these have already commenced and have been incorporated into the updated risk dashboard for ongoing monitoring and reporting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So has anybody got any questions on any of the individual findings at all?
Just a comment through the chair. So on the first one, procedural monitoring and compliance for people that get over the 50 grand or business get over 50 grand. In a little community like this is going to happen. I'll name you two that will. One will be Petrels and the other will be Bev. And sorry? Holby's will get in the second thing, yeah, because he's on the contract. So we've got no choice on those unless we, so really it's going to waste staff time. Like, I'll guarantee you Petrels will be over 50 grand. And to go out to the marketplace, I mean, Ralph doesn't want to do that stuff. There's no one in it. Well, does he?
Right. Yeah, talk afterwards.
Yeah, okay. Because well, it's probably a lot of it's out of his field, but Oakland certainly don't. They're more agriculture. So we've got no choice, really. And Bev's the same. You're going to be wasting your time just to say, yeah, they're over 50 grand.
It's probably more a case of just bringing it up that it's over 50 grand and everyone discuss it, and then you note that everyone's happy not to source
aware of the fact.
for the quotes, or if it does get ridiculous, gives every councillors or committee members the opportunity to say, we'd like you to look into that and get further quotes.
A lot of these findings are, relevant for a big council, band two or something, but for us it just probably note it and move on.
Yeah.
A bit the same with a long-term contract, which would be Holberton's, but no.
Yeah.
I'd like to add a comment. A lot of this is a great outcome, and it emphasises what I've always said, the unknown unknowns. You don't know what you don't know, and this has highlighted a few things, it's brought them to light. there'll be plenty more that we don't know that we don't know. What I'm postulating or suggesting is there a type of AI software or something that can just throw out tests or suggestions to you, like randomly, you know, when was the last time you checked your login register for being up to date, so that, you know, we or the AI, knowing what a small shire typically involves, it can prompt.
So
Yeah.
just through the chair,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I was referring to. So there are softwares that you can actually set dates. So for example, if you are meant to renew your passwords every 3 months, it actually sends you a notification saying that, have you renewed your password?
Yeah.
Or, and then if you haven't, then it shoots out a report. I have used similar softwares in my past organizations. And similarly, local government is very, very complex. We have got over 500 activities throughout the year when it comes to compliance, and actually documenting them and having those notifications, having those end of date is quite critical. Even small things like once you adopt the budget, like it's easy to forget about to submit it to the department, and that's a serious breach. You can't not submit to the department, but you know, in people's mind, maybe we've adopted the budget, we have given notification, it's up in the website, so that's it. But how would somebody know that this needed to now go to the department? Somebody has to send it to them. So that's the type of software I was referring to, and it does come with a cost, obviously, but it will strengthen. So that's something over the time. It's not an immediate fix, but over the time, we'll have to really look into that, because in order to build it, it takes a long time to build it. Once it's built, life is easy. But to build it, it will take easily a year or more, from my experience, because I've implemented one of those.
There isn't already something that you subscribe to in Microsoft that will do the job?
With you can. There are different things like Smart Sheets. There is software called Attain. There's another software. So some certain softwares or Microsoft can actually do follow-ups, but it needs manual intervention to actually design it in a way that's it's appropriate for that particular council. Yeah. Small things like we've got home care, that's very unconventional. It's not traditional to other councils. Like we've got deadlines for them. We've got deadlines for DPIRT, for ComDev. So yeah, there's a lot of improvement opportunities out there.
About 100
But
staff.
at the same time, I think you'd have to recognise, I mean, there's no high risk. That was great. And most of these you did know and were already working on. So, I mean, that's credit to you guys, I think.
And those things that are identified, you're obviously working towards, but there's only so much you can do. Yeah. And there's obviously a lot of progress happening, which is great. Like there's, you know, all the items that have been taken off the dashboard already. Yeah, that must have felt good.
Yeah. You almost need a little balloon for each of those that you can hang up and
sound when it's done. Okay, so has anyone got any other questions in regards?
I don't think you're going to need to install CCTV.
Oh, do you know what you can do? Bunnings have really cheap UFI systems that just run off of they just record it to, like you can record it to a computer. They're cheap as, really cheap. Like you can pick one for $200 or $300.
So on that, through the chair, the CCTV for local governments or governments needs to have ANPR technology, which can be accessed by the police. So that's why we didn't get the CCTV grant, because not many systems we had is actually ANPR enabled. So that's one of the criteria, and unfortunately, that's why everything in local government costs a bit higher than.
So how much cash would we handle a week, maybe? Yeah, a lot, would it?
not much at all.
Yeah.
So the risk versus cost is not going to weigh up.
Noting it on there that you're looking into it. It is in the works. We are pricing up. Okay. With the bank statement one, that's,
Well, the
the evidence.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
actually hard work getting copies of bank statement numbers from people. It's almost like you need to have one person in the Shire who gets the information to say that the bank has changed, and then another member of the Shire ring them and check that it's correct. So you've got two staff members dealing with it, and you've got something in writing, you've got something in verbal or something. Because those programs, they all cost money in that, don't they?
So we do, currently our system is pretty strong. And having said that, I'm mindful that certain systems were quite new, like only got implemented after I have been on board, given I was from the finance background. So a lot of them wasn't there, but it's still like they are advocating for having softwares. Having said that, we are looking into softwares as well. But obviously it all comes with the cost versus benefit, like can we afford it, and is it required to afford, like, you know, is it required to have this sort of investment? So we're trying to assess how do we improve things.
So how do you change your banks, if someone wants to change their bank account details, what happens now?
So if currently anybody wants to change their bank details, we have a form that they need to fill, and they have to provide a copy of their, like a proof, evidence of their statement. Like we don't need to see what balance they have, but say it's a company, so the company name against the bank statement, like with logoed and everything, and they have to sign it, and then somebody rings and verifies as well.
So if it's already been done, what do you?
Well, that's pretty well what that says, isn't it?
Yeah, so it is currently in place, but somehow that got, when they were doing the audit, maybe that's when we just implemented. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay. And the other thing I was just going to check was with the asset management, with the purchasing of small items under $5,000, you'd have to have a minimum on there. You don't want to have $89 chairs on your list and things like that. Surely they're not asking you to do that.
Yeah, no.
You'd have to have a range that you work within, like it'd be between like 2,000 and 5,000 or something, not menial small items, surely. Which is probably why the document's not being used. Because they get ridiculous. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. And everyone's also looked at the 7.1B and C as well. Yeah. Looks like lots of fun and games to do over the next couple of years. All right. So if there's no other comments, we're ready to move the motion. Okay, so officers' recommendation 7.2, that in accordance with Reg 17 of the Local Government Audit Regulations 96, the Audit Risk and Improvement Committee recommends that Council 1 receives the Reg 17 1A Financial Management Review Final Report as provided in Attachment 7.2A. 2, receives a Reg 17 1B and C Review Final Report as provided in Attachment 7.2B. 3, notes the findings and management comments contained within both reports. 4, notes that no high-risk findings were identified through either review. And 5, notes the outcomes of the Reg 17 reviews and supports ongoing implementation of identified improvement actions and government measures. So if we can have a mover, Councillor Hudson, and the seconder, Councillor Graffin, and all those in favour? And that's 4, yeah.
Can I ask a post question?
You may.
Yeah. Previously, did we do this in-house, or can we do these 2 reviews in-house?
Through the chair. Do you want to address that?
Yeah, through the chair. So the financial management regulation review has been done externally. The regulation 17 was done internally, the last one, so 3 financial years ago. But prior to that, it was an externally completed report.
Right. I'd note the total cost was about 13,000 for both of them. Yeah, just wanted to put that
Through
on.
the chair, can I just comment on that? It is to the best interest of the council to have it externally done, because you want to have good management control, and obviously Regulation 17 audit is for the purpose of the CEO's satisfaction that the organisation is running all right. However, if it's done internally, there could be gaps and inconsistencies, or the reporting might not be as unbiased as it is. We all know about unconscious bias, so things like that can be addressed when it's done externally. So my suggestion, even for future, is council should always go external.
Going back to your point of what you don't know as well.
I would like to see how.
Yeah.
No, I was, that's
Yeah.
what I wanted to hear for the record.
Yeah. You got enough policies and procedures you need to write without auditing yourself. Okay, so if there's nothing else that we need to discuss. Okay, so our next meeting will be September 26th. Yeah, so that will be another audit meeting, won't it? What did we get? No, the audit's but after that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the budget. Okay, so I'd like to thank everyone for attending today. What have we got? Oh, gosh. 3:34. Okay. Thank you all for attending and for your hard work, guys. Keep going.